Hey, if you're like most people, looking good or being athletic isn't enough. What you want to do is be able to look great and be able to perform at your best. So what I'm going to do is dispel a couple common myths and show you how some of the best athletes in the world train from my time as a strength and conditioning coach. Because the way that athletes train and their intent is quite a bit different from how most people train. So what I'm going to show you is our 3-step power primer protocol. And that encompasses explosive exercises, heavy strength training, and then isolation work to build athletic muscle. And before you go any further, make sure that you hit subscribe and drop a comment below after you watch this entire video. All right, let's do it.
You must train using 3 specific factors in what we call the power primer protocol. Number 1, you must have explosive movement. 2, pure strength exercises. And number 3, sports-specific muscle building methods. The problem is programming multiple training variables is like trying to whip up a complicated recipe. So how do you dial in the right recipe for strength, size, and athleticism? We're going to get to that in a second. But before we go any further, it's 100% crucial that you watch this entire video and hit subscribe now. You might even want to watch it 2 or 3 times because this is going to be very important information. Number 1, explosive movement. What do athletes do? They move explosively. Athletes run, they jump, they throw, and they generate forces extremely quickly. But most people neglect explosive exercises when they stop or never start playing sports. Think of the average 30-year-old. They probably haven't sprinted all out in a sport since they were 18 to 22. If they try to do it right away without any practice, they're going to ask for an issue. So once you warm up, it's crucial to start incorporating explosive exercises like jumps and throws into your workouts for 3 reasons. Number 1, explosive exercises ignite your nervous system. When you have to generate force quickly, such as a jump or a throw, your brain sends signals to your muscles, activating high threshold motor units and improving neuromuscular efficiency through improving and optimizing intramuscular coordination and intermuscular coordination within a movement. In other words, your body recruits more muscle fibers and how smoothly you can perform them. Number 2, when you incorporate explosive exercises, you train more muscle fibers. Think of it this way, if you had somebody who is recruiting 50% of a muscle and another person who is recruiting 80%, who's going to build more strength, muscle, and generate power? The person who's generating 80%, right? So explosive exercise makes everything else that you do in training more effective, and that's why we want to make sure we do it. Number 3, you build real-world performance. Ultimately, you want a body that performs and looks great. To do so, you have to train in the same ways you would in a sport. So if you want to look like a football player, jump, sprint, throw medicine balls. If you want the body of a middleweight fighter, well, you don't need to get punched in the face, but you should jump and add in rotational power. And if you want the body of a sumo wrestler, well, eat some muffins. The thing is, the big mistake people make is they confuse doing a lot of exercises very quickly and tons of interval training with getting more explosive. That's a huge mistake. The key to getting explosive and building an athletic body is to generate as much force as you can on each rep, not doing as many reps as you can while getting out of breath. So what explosive exercises should you do? Well, they should match the exercises that you're doing directly in your workouts. So if the primary exercise in your workout is a squat, you should be doing explosive movements such as a squat jump or box jump or a hurdle jump. If the primary movement in your workouts is a bench press, you should be doing an explosive horizontal movement like a clap push-up or an incline plyometric push-up. If the exercise in your workout is a deadlift, you should do a type of squat jump or a broad jump. If the primary movement in your workout is an overhead press, try an overhead medicine ball slam or an explosive push-up. Overall, you have to match the explosive exercise with the type of movement that you are doing. And when you're doing these workouts, you should do 3 to 5 sets and reps on each exercise with 60 to 90 seconds rest in between. Let me correct that. Of one exercise that matches the demands of the exercise. Remember, your goal here is explosive power, not turning high performance training into a bastardized high intensity interval training class. The second parameter you need, pure strength work. The stronger you are, the more effectively you can train for any goal, whether you're trying to optimize performance, lose fat, or build as much muscle as possible. And as an athlete, there are 2 crucial types of strength. Absolute strength refers to the maximum amount of force regardless of size or muscle mass. Think of this as a heavy deadlift or like a lineman blocking in football. When you can generate greater amounts of absolute strength, you can generate more force in an absolute sense, and that's going to help you with big tasks. Now, relative strength is how strong you are for your size. When you have higher relative strength, it's easier to move your body through space, which could mean sprinting, jumping, or doing chin-ups. And what we want to do is make sure that we have a combination of both absolute strength and relative strength. What we need to know about physique-wise is for building muscle, higher levels of strength can lead to higher levels of muscle fiber recruitment, mechanical tension, and improved work capacity. Meaning when you get stronger, every other way that you can train to build muscle becomes that much more effective. So when you're training, you want to focus on big movement patterns like a hip hinge movement or a deadlift, a squat movement, an overhead press movement, and a horizontal pressing movement. Each strength exercise should have about 5 work sets of 3 to 5 reps with 2 to 3 minutes of rest in between. The third component of an athletic muscle building workout is athletic muscle building. Now, athletes aren't as big as bodybuilders. That's because their training means that they have to be able to move their bodies through space. It's not purely an aesthetic goal. And if they're in a sport with weight classes like a fighter or a wrestler, they can't get too big or they lose their competitive advantage. So the goal of athletic muscle building is to build muscle in the right places. And when it comes to becoming an athlete, we like to focus on what's called the X physique. We want broad shoulders, a thick back, and powerful glutes and hamstrings. So what would this look like? Well, here's a quick screenshot of a sample lower body workout. As you can see, we incorporate the athletic, explosive exercise, the broad jump in the beginning. Second, we have a deadlift where 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. And then we move into similar exercises that are hitting the posterior chain. We have a barbell Romanian deadlift. We take longer on the eccentric right here. And then we have the pigeon stretch and an inverted row and stability ball lockout. The key parameters here that you can see are we are still focusing on the posterior side of the body and the same muscles that were being hit previously. So what you need to do is you need to be able to hit the same muscles that you did with heavy and explosive training because they are now fully activated and ready to be fatigued. A muscle that is activated but not fatigued is not going to grow. That's a famous quote from exercise scientist Yuri Verkhoshansky. So we want to make sure we hit classic muscle building rep schemes. So how do we put all of this together? We'll call this power primer programming. So as an athlete, your body has to function as an integrated unit. So you need to train both movements, not just muscles. So a typical body part split is not going to be a great idea. And in my experience working with elite level athletes, upper-lower training splits where you train the upper body and then the lower body day, or push-pull exercise can work incredibly well. Take a picture of this short workout. This bench press focused workout is focused primarily on upper body pushing with a little bit of pulling work. So this is an upper body split, right? Now, an athletic muscle building workout comes down to building a body that performs as well as it looks. So it's crucial to understand that means you have to train explosively. You have to build strength, and then you add muscle in the right places. And obviously for high-level athletes and lifters, they need an individualized approach. So if you want a step-by-step program on when to train and how to train that eliminates all the guesswork so you get in the best shape of your life, all you have to do is head to bachperformance.com/coaching. And in the meantime, pound that like button and leave a comment letting me know what else you would like me to cover. And of course, click subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video.